Hi, I'm Ron Tite, and welcome to the second show of the Studio Q season. I'm sure everyone at home can feel the excitement in the air.
Hi, I'm Kirsta Teague, and we've got a really great show lined up, so I'm very excited. We've got stories on jobs for Artsies. Apparently not a contradiction in terms, and we also have a special segment, The Coach's Corner.
The Coach's Corner, right. Okay, first up, however, is a look at the recent metamorphosis in the JDUC. Since my first year, anyhow, the Bank of Montreal space has stood stagnant. Each year, AMS elections would prompt new proposals on how to fill the space. And it wasn't until this summer that something was finally done. But it all seemed like a corporate game of musical chairs, and as Jen Mondoux found out, when the AMS stopped the music, the only obvious changes there were was that what was once empty is now filled, and what was once filled is now empty.
From entertainment facilities to food services to providing space for various clubs on campus, the JDUC has been a center of all kinds of student activity here at Queen's. Besides providing space for various AMS-approved organizations here at Queen's, the JDUC has also served as an outlet for various commercial ventures. Yet the issue of commercial space allocated by the JDUC has come under question here at Queen's, especially in the previous years with the issue of the much-debated and formerly empty Bank of Montreal space. As you can see, this space has now been filled with the college book merchant, cut above Alfie's, as well as a brand new post office. So the issue of what to do with empty commercial space at the JDUC appears to have been solved. Or has it? Here's where the college book merchant used to be, and the post office. Now there seems to be a lot of new, empty, and unused space. According to AMS Internal Affairs, all the remaining empty space in the JDUC is commercial. So it looks as though things have been moved around, but nothing is any better. What's going to happen to the new empty spaces? According to Jack Sinnott, the director of the JDUC, there are plans under consideration for the empty commercial spaces. At last Friday's general meeting, plans were put forth regarding a possible video store, a specialty coffee shop, a student entrepreneurial outlet, as well as a possible expansion of the Ye Olde Tuck Shop. As of now, nothing is definite, but Mr. Sinnott indicated that the entrepreneurial space could be finalized by next month and video store plans possible within a few weeks. Some students, though, feel that the available space should be given to Queen's organizations. Mr. Sinnott is aware of that option, but made it clear that commercial ventures are top priority. So though definite plans are underway for the empty commercial spaces at the JDUC, when and how these plans are to be brought to reality remains to be seen. In the meantime, the empty spaces will remain empty. For Studio Q, this is Jen Mondoux reporting.
While programs like commerce and engineering shuffle their students through a Skinner box with a job rather than a piece of cheese waiting at the end, Artsies tend to spend their university years in professional limbo, wondering whether to travel, go tree planting, or maybe go to Japan and teach English. However, many organizations realize the value of an arts degree and are aware of the unique talents which its owners may possess. Juliette Knapton probes the issues surrounding corporate hiring of Artsies.
Do you know where you're going with your arts and science degree? Does the myth of commerce students making all the money in Wall Street and engineers building things leave Artsies with nothing? Are there more options for an Artside than doing a master's, going to law school, or opening a bohemian cafe? Absolutely, according to Jim Kelly, Director of Career Planning and Placement. Apart from the well-known options like communications and banking, companies hire Artside graduates in sales, marketing, research, public relations, and the list is endless. In many ways, they are luckier because they are more flexible and able to adapt to diverse callings.
If you look at on-campus recruiting, it covers a very small portion of the labor market.
The attitude toward Artsize employment is deceiving. In a study of placement rates at Canadian universities, results for graduates with arts and science degrees were very positive. Of those students who were actively seeking work and not focusing on other options like grad school or travel, the number of people who found jobs are comparable in engineering.
Can you tell me what your major in your degree is?
I'm doing life sciences.
And what are you going to do with that degree?
Who knows? Maybe medicine, but that's what they all say, so I don't know.
I'm a geography major. And what are you going to do with that degree?
I haven't really decided yet. I'm in first year, so I'll probably change, between now and the end of my 4 years. So.
The fact is that Artsize get jobs. So why are they so uncertain, if not pessimistic, about their future? Elaine McDougall, placement coordinator for the School of Business, explains that while business students are focused from year one, arts and science students wait until well into their degree before making career moves. Karen Bazinski, ASIC's Careers Day coordinator, defines the distinction.
engineering business might seem a little bit more of a training, whereas arts is a general higher education.
Not only is there an opportunity for Artsies to better market themselves, but businesses also need to learn to recruit from this large pool of talent. As with everyone else, the students of the Faculty of Arts and Science will be facing a yin-yang environment of job opportunities in 1993. In the end, however, it is still the thinking individual that counts. Confidence, dedication, hard work, and a dash of charisma are always in high demand, even in a recession. For Studio Q, I'm Juliette Knapton reporting.
Journal readers may remember the frequent appearance of the name Sandro Pasquali to the opinion section. In fact, the man who penned these famous letters became somewhat of a minor celebrity on campus. So much so that his absence has created a void at the paper and has prompted many people to ask the question, what's happened to Sandro Pasquali?
Well, Ron here seems to think that he's joined the ranks of the Waldo type and is like blended into the crowd. Or maybe he's hidden himself in an Al Capone vault and is waiting at this moment to be discovered by Geraldo on live TV. Who knows? Anyways, Greg Warman took it upon himself to answer the question on everyone's lips by hunting down the man himself.
If you've read a Queen's Journal lately, or in the last year and a half, you may have noticed that it's missing a certain je ne sais quoi flair.
So, what's the problem? The editorials are still intellectually stimulating, the photos simply smashing. And the book reviews? Absolutely scrumptious. The problem lies here, in the opinions section. Only one page of letters to the editor.
Ah, yes. There was a time when the pages of the journal were teeming with opinions from the Queen's community, as students wrote in raising certain important issues and beating other issues to death. And amidst this letter-writing turmoil, one name prevailed. Sandro Pasquali, Artsci, 94.
For those of you that were at Queen's University in the fall of 1990, you'll probably remember Sandro. He was the frosh that succeeded in submitting a series of sophisticated and sometimes scathing letters to the Queen's Journal's opinion section. He was more popular than Emily Moore, Principal David Smith, and Mayor Helen Cooper. However, like Ponch on the TV series Chips, Sandro mysteriously vanished.
Studio Q, interested in exploring this mystery, found Sandro Pasquali and questioned him about those days of fervid letter writing. First, what reaction was he attempting to solicit with his letters?
I mean, I wanted something like a debate. I was hoping people would write in and say, you know, either, yes, we agree with you, no, you're an idiot, you know, something like that.
Sandro continued, explaining the actual responses he received.
Whatever you wrote. I think there was only once where I actually received letters that they actually looked at my argument, they said, this and this, we think you're wrong on this point. Once. And then after that, it all became very, very evil.
However, it was not these attacks which caused Sandro to stop submitting letters. The journal actually changed its letter to the editor policy, and Sandro's last submission in December 1990 never made it to the presses.
However, no one should assume that Sandro has lost touch with campus issues.
Currently, the whole thing with GUI and the AMS's Hall cartoon, I was really shocked by that.
Why is it so shocking? Sandro recalled last year's AMS judicial hearing on Mark Gibbons' charges of reverse racism against surface columnist Rohini Raj.
When that came out was, a person of color cannot be a racist. And then you have a guy who's a person of power being accused of racism. Like, you know, it just, you can get it straight.
So, what's the final analysis? Will we ever be able to look into a Queen's Journal again and see another profound letter to the editor from Sandro Pasquali? Unfortunately, even he didn't have an answer to that question. Whatever the case may be, however, it is unlikely that Queens will forget Sandro Pasquali. It is also equally unlikely that he will forget about the pertinent political issues here at Queens. For Studio Q, I'm Greg Warman.
Mark October 2nd on your calendar. That's the day when you'll likely be enumerated for the upcoming federal referendum. Elections Canada is busy preparing the voters list for the October 26th date. That means they'll be blitzing the student area and residences trying to sign up all eligible student voters. And Kingston's chief returning officer, Jim Keenlyside, explains there's no need for students to go back to their home riding.
As far as students are concerned, they are being enumerated as an ordinary resident of the riding.
He says that once you're on the list, more details about the locations of polling sites should arrive in the mail in a few weeks. It may have been a week late, but the year's first issue of Surface hit the campus on Tuesday. The paper found itself unable to publish last week when it had funds withheld by the Arts and Science Undergraduate Society. The problem was caused by a mix-up in the process for electing a permanent editor. As a result, Surface was being run by interim editors, and some ASIS reps didn't want to trust them with Surface's money. However, this week some interim funding was found, and the paper was published, complete with advertisements for the permanent editor's position. This was a familiar scene at Victoria Hall last week, a chance for the 96s to order their Queen's jackets. ASIS organizers are trying hard to avoid a repeat of the problems they faced last year. Some students didn't get their jackets until April due to problems with the jacket maker. This year there's a new manufacturer, a new supplier, and more administrative changes. ASIS Jackets coordinator Rick Stender says as an added security, this year's order is even being handled through someone with close ties to the university.
Finally, the sales rep is a graduate of Queen's, former chair of JacketCom, so he understands our needs. He knows that which side the crest should be on. He knows the detailing, the way we need to have it, and he understands why it's so important to have the jackets when we need them. So we're hoping that will all work in our favor.
Almost 150 people had a chance to strut their stuff for a part in the upcoming production of The Fiddler on the Roof. Queen's Musical Theatre is presenting the popular musical next January at the Grant Theatre. Right now, the casting is in the callback stage. And last Wednesday saw the grand opening of the Ams Coffee House in the Lower Cayley of the JDUC. The coffee house runs every Wednesday night from 8 until 11 p.m. It's a chance to eat some munchies, relax after a night class, or just listen to some great music.
Okay, so it's 8:25. You're rushing out of your house. You got 5 minutes to get to class. You got a baseball cap on. You're dozy. You just got up. And suddenly, someone rushes to you, slams a microphone in front of your face, and says, if you could be any vegetable, what would it be? Well, that's our Streetwise segment here at Studio Q. That's the